Hey everybody, we're back with part two, and we'll be discussing more about what we cook with and what we do like to use, and other reasons why it's better to eat this way. We found.
So now, after we've told you a bit about ourselves and what we've been through, and told you about what not to eat. You're probably thinking, "Oh no, is there anything I can eat?" And I'm here to tell you, yes, there are things that you can eat. So a lot of, and we'll start by telling you stuff that we have enjoyed and we have found to be really delicious. Homemade smoothies. For Christmas, we bought ourselves a high-powered blender.
And it'll run you between $300 and $400, but if you can save $80 over a period of a few months, you won't even feel it.
Make almond milk and cashew milk in our high-powered blender. We also use reverse osmosis water in all of our smoothies. And herbal teas. We love herbal teas. There's something very, very soothing about having herbal tea, especially after a really nice meal. We make our own homemade sports drinks for pre and post workouts. And we also have alcohol in
You
moderation.
gotta enjoy life, right?
Absolutely. You can have a glass of wine with dinner. And our anniversary was a few days ago, and we had a lovely glass of wine with our dinner as well.
They actually say that red wine's very healthy for the heart in moderation.
Yes, it is. Shall I
But
continue?
yes.
So, we were on a vegetarian diet for some time, and we have recently made the decision to become carnivores again. So, we now consume hormone free, drug free meat, and most of the meat has comes from farms where animals are living what animal lives. Cows do what cows do, and chickens live chicken lives. And you can tell that there is a significant flavor difference in these types of meats. So, and also we choose to eat these meats so that we don't absorb negative energy from otherwise factory farmed animals. So cows and chickens and pigs and whatever that have lived their lives in cages or surrounded in their own feces and are full of antibiotics. So the animals that we consume have been raised humanely, they have been treated humanely, and have been slaughtered humanely.
Very well said. I would like to add that we do our best to have all our meals with drug-free and free-range meat. Sometimes it's not always possible if we can't get to the market where we get it from or whatnot, or maybe it's not in your budget. Unfortunately, not all of our meals are, but we try and make a good chunk of our meals with this type of meat. And I will say that um, we're taught to think this kind of meat is more expensive. You can get a little over a kilo of drug-free ground beef for about $7. Not much difference from what's in the grocery store. And even working with it, manipulating in your hands, um, you can even feel a difference. There's a huge difference. And just to change to the next subject, I would like to say that one thing you can eat is GMO-free cereal, produce, breads. Unfortunately, I've found even gluten-free bread doesn't work for me. It just bloats me for whatever reason. So I just try and avoid as much as possible. I can't always do it, but we try our best. Now, these foods will be specifically marked gluten-free, dairy-free, egg-free, lactose-free, etc. So you want to watch out for that. You can buy frozen treats made from coconut oil and milk and almond milk. These are good fats for you, and they're still just as tasty. What do you think about alkaline foods, Althea?
Alkaline foods help keep your body in an alkaline state. It balances out the acid levels in your body so that anything that is not natural to your body will not survive in an alkaline state. So it's super important to always keep your body in an alkaline state.
And you can actually buy pH strips and test your own alkaline levels. I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, check with a professional. You can find this information online. I think we're supposed to be somewhere between 5 and 7. I know it's in the green. Like on the strips, it'll be in the green. And I remember I'm usually quite in line with the alkaline levels, and you generally feel better too.
So, just as a reminder, we are not medical professionals. We are not here giving you professional advice. If you do have a medical issue, seek advice from a medical professional. We're just two people sharing our experiences and letting you know what works for us. So, some more alkaline foods: dark leafy greens, lemons, broccoli, sprouts, asparagus. All of these foods, if you can find them at your local farmer's market or organic market, you'll see that there are a lot of varieties that are always in season.
And the things you want to look for are kale, chard, and a lot of these foods, they're anti-cancer. They will actually kill cancer cells and fat cells. Apparently, I've just learned. And even lemons and limes, especially. I put lemons and limes, even broccoli, kale in a smoothie with berries, maple syrup, good quality maple syrup or honey. I know vegans don't usually use honey. They like to use maple syrup. So if you're a vegan, I suggest sticking to what you feel is right for you. And those foods will help you. Certain foods like broccoli, they contain an antioxidant called glutathione, and they recommend to get a full absorption of it. Again, we're not medical professionals. We just stuff we learned along the way. To get the full benefit of it, it's best to consume them raw. Now, I hate raw broccoli. I usually need it a bit steamed or whatever. But when I put broccoli or even kale or chard in smoothies and with other fruit, I don't even taste it. And I know I'm getting something good in my body.
So, just to keep going, we've got gluten-free GMO flour, or gluten-free and GMO-free flour and sugar. So now that I know that I'm a diabetic, I use a lot of coconut sugar in smoothies, baked goods. You'll see it in the desserts that we make, but coconut sugar is also low. It has a low glycemic index, and it tastes really, really sweet, and it gives you an element of coconut
It's
in
so good. You won't even notice a difference.
We also make our own, as I mentioned before, we make our own cashew milk and we make our own almond milk, and you'll see these in upcoming videos. We use quality maple syrup, and like Jason mentioned, maple syrup is great for vegans and vegetarians, and it's also a non-refined sweetener. So if you're looking for something to sweeten a drink or anything that you're making, maple syrup is always a really good option.
And for those people, and just make sure it's a good quality. You can find some of them in bulk stores. We get a few of these items in bulk just because they're cheaper and they last longer. One thing about honey I wanted to say, if you make sure you have a quality honey, like from a bee farmer or whatever, you'll want to make sure a lot of people like to put honey in hot drinks. I recently, and again, I'm not a medical professional, I've recently learned that there's a lot of good enzymes in honey that are very beneficial for our health. And putting it in hot water will actually deplete most of these enzymes, which is obviously not what you want. So I usually put them in cold water in a homemade sports drink, a smoothie. And there's similar properties in maple syrup, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look them up. I don't know them offhand. But just keep that in mind.
So, dark chocolate and organic chocolate is something we like to treat ourselves with, especially if we're looking for something sweet.
Well,
Yams.
nothing's much sweeter than you.
Oh, thank you. Yams, otherwise known as sweet potatoes, and good quality potatoes. We recently purchased some from our local farmers market, which were really delicious. Nuts and seeds, preferably raw.
No salt.
And preferably organic. And pink Himalayan sea salt. And pink Himalayan sea salt is, and you can also get sea salt that is pink it originates in Utah. The sea salt that we're referring to comes from the Himalayas in Nepal. And this salt it hasn't been near an ocean. This salt is mined. So you want to be careful of sea salt because depending on where the sea salt comes from the ocean, you want to know that if the ocean is polluted, likely the sea salt will be too. So it's always best to choose sea salt that is from a mine source as opposed to somewhere on the ocean.
And you'll just want to do your research and check with your medical professional or food specialist. This is just what works for us. And you can also buy these salt products online in bulk. Usually, they're much cheaper. That's what we do. One thing we like to cook a lot with is olive oil. Now, you'll want to make sure it's pure olive oil. A lot of the time, you'll find from various countries, they're not always pure olive oil. They're usually sometimes blended with four other oils, um, like palm kernel oil or cottonseed oil or whatever. You want to stay away from those oils. They're not good for you. They're refined in GMO usually. But pure olive oil, you can get some from Tunisia and other places, Greece, I think, off the Mediterranean. You can get them in your bulk store. You really want to check the ingredients of them. And coconut oil. Usually it's best to get organic virgin coconut oil. And I just want to say one thing. Apparently in Canada anyway, um, I think you only need 3 organic or natural ingredients in a product, whether it's skin and body or a food product. Only 3 ingredients to be labeled natural. So the rest of the ingredients, you could have 20 chemicals in it. Isn't that about right?
That sounds about right. So another way, if you want to tell if it's pure olive oil, put the olive oil in a container and put it in the fridge. If it solidifies over a period of time, then you have actual olive oil. Olive oil will solidify over time at cold temperatures. If it does not solidify, then likely you're looking at olive oil that is not a good quality or olive oil that has been added with something or other. Raw legumes. So we do consume a lot of black beans, lentils, chickpeas. We soak them in reverse osmosis water overnight, and then we cook them the following day in our desired recipe. Gluten-free and GMO-free certified cereals and oatmeal. Oatmeal is something that we don't consume on a regular basis.
Even gluten free.
It depends on the recipe, but if we were to consume oatmeal, it would be definitely wheat-free. Oatmeal in itself does contain some forms of gluten, especially if the oatmeal has been grown near wheat. And for those of us who have very strong sensitivities all the way to celiac disease, this could potentially give you a reaction. So just make sure that if you do consume oatmeal, the oatmeal is indeed wheat-free or gluten-free.
And again, check with your doctor first before you start buying these foods if you're worried. You know, we've checked with our doctor and our naturopath before getting into all of this. I get white rice. They say that's not the best because it can spike your pancreas or it can go to your pancreas and spike your blood sugar levels. Not a medical professional. Check with your doctor if you have issues. That's just what my research has shown. But the rice that I get is GMO free, and it's actually marked GMO free. And I find these workouts, at least for me personally, before and after a workout, are good with protein because I've found from my own personal self that it helps to refuel the muscles with glycogen. And again, I'm not a dietitian or a personal trainer or anything, but this is just, or a doctor. Check with any of your professionals if you want to find a catered diet to your own needs. This is just by trial and error for me. But one thing we try and eat for us is grains. And one grain we love, I can eat it raw, cold, hot, whatever. It's called quinoa. It has a good quality protein in it and fiber. And Althea has a special way she likes to make it because she doesn't really like it just plain.
Now, I like to use it as a hot cereal and also in tabbouleh in place of bulgur wheat or couscous because bulgur wheat and couscous actually contain gluten. So when I do make tabbouleh, which will be the subject of an upcoming video, I'll show you how I can incorporate quinoa into the tabbouleh and still have it delicious.
So we're going to get on to the next part of our this video for the time being. This will be the last part of this video, and I'm sure we'll come up with more things to share with you. What's the next part of our video?
So we're going to tell you why it's better, at least for us, why we found it's better to eat these foods. So we found that eating this way, so eliminating major allergens, GMO foods, eating locally, eating fresh, eating more fruits and vegetables, a lot of this helps to reduce inflammation. We have found it has reduced sickness. We used to get a lot of colds, and now we don't get as many as much. It reduces stress as well. I love cooking. Cooking to me is art. It is love. It is an expression of love.
And I love to eat
it. It's for me, cooking is a form of meditation. It helps out with exercise after a great workout. It's always nice to come home to a smoothie or a great cooked meal. It's just like, you know, if you're into yoga, if you're into playing an instrument, it's all about doing stuff you enjoy. And once you start incorporating better food into your diet, you're going to see an overall change in your quality of life. You will actually start to feel a lot better. You'll have more energy. You'll sleep better. You will naturally lose weight as a result of losing weight. And
headaches will go away if you're someone who suffers from headaches.
Headaches will go away. So even though we know people who don't believe that stress is related to most major illnesses, indeed it is. So the biggest thing that in this section of the video that we can share with you is that having a well-balanced diet of foods that are delicious, foods that you enjoy, and foods that are simple to prepare will increase your overall quality of life.
And well said. And combining this with a healthy lifestyle is really what's necessary to move forward with your life. And I really hope you guys have a support system. If you don't, hopefully you guys can get on it together. If you guys need counseling, you know, because I know for you guys who are parents, kids are very picky. But if they see you guys eating things, I guarantee they'll start eventually wanting to eat them. I know, at least for me, when I would see, growing up, I would see certain things being consumed, and I started consuming them as an adult. And then I eventually woke up and realized, you know, hey, I'm gaining weight. I don't like it. And I have thyroid problems, so I have to be careful. I take Synthroid. I actually don't have a thyroid gland. And I have to be careful with certain things that I eat. And this has really helped me. I've actually, well, supposedly I don't have a thyroid gland, but some people think that it doesn't always burn. But this is getting to medical things, so you'll want to check their doctor first if you have them. I'm just talking about myself. They've had to lower my thyroid dosage, so I'm hoping that maybe one day I don't need to be on the medication. Now, what can help with inflammation and to reduce stress and be healthier? Well, one thing we like to take, you can even buy aluminum-free version of it, but apparently the regular version of it actually is aluminum-free. Baking soda. Baking soda is an alkaline. It's been known to reduce inflammation and reduce acid in the body. So if you've been out on the town or whatever and had an acidic meal or junk food, I actually take, I'd say 1 to 3 half teaspoons a day of baking soda. At least that's what works for me. Again, check with your doctor because maybe you might have some sort of interaction. I'm just talking about what works for me. And as I mentioned earlier, you can actually buy pH strips to measure your alkaline levels. We love, and again, before I mentioned supplements, you'll want to talk with your doctor or professional. We don't like talking about the doctor, but for our own purposes, we need to get that out there. Because if you go and buy, I've bought things that people recommended, you know, out of the kindness of their heart, and it didn't work well for me. I had some sort of reaction. I didn't check with my doctor or a nutritional expert. For us personally, omega-3s have really helped eliminate food cravings for crappy food, surprisingly. And we found the best ratio was 300 EPA and 200 DHA. And what we learned, we were at a conference recently about inflammation. We learned not to use omega-3s from krill. They say they take it, they drill it up from the bottom of the ocean, and it takes away food from the sea animals. So if you're animal friendly, you don't want to do that. It's not very nice. I also recommend a probiotic that contains acidophilus and bifidus. And again, I'm not a medical professional, but these what these do is they help put good bacteria back in your body and stomach, and that helps also reduce inflammation. We take ours 3 times a day. You don't necessarily have to buy ones that are refrigerated. We use I guess, an average brand of omega 3s and probiotics, and we find they work just fine. Maybe if our budget changes, we might look to buying ones that are more expensive, but that's not needed right now. And what would you say? What else is good to eat?
What we've been experimenting and having good success with hemp products. So hemp products being hemp oil, hemp capsules, hemp hearts, and hemp protein. We will be doing a video on how to make hemp milk. It's actually really, really easy if you have a high-powered blender and some hemp seeds. Coconut oil, as we mentioned, great quality coconut oil, great quality olive oil, and reducing your caffeine intake, as we talked about in our first video. Reducing your caffeine intake, you're going to see that it will not affect your adrenal glands as much. It's going to reduce stress. You won't have that up and down of that initial high after consuming caffeine and then that initial crash. We don't smoke
No.
at all. It's just not a good thing. We don't advocate it at all. And minimizing alcohol, as we mentioned in our first video. And if you do smoke, if you're looking to stop smoking, make sure that you do consult a health professional. Your local public health unit would likely have resources, free resources, mind you, to help you stop smoking. And also to taper off slowly and talk to your doctor about it. If you find that you are addicted to caffeine or addicted to smoking or that you consume lots of alcohol, make sure that you don't do anything cold turkey. Doing things cold turkey has an adverse effect on the body because your body has developed a need for it, and once it doesn't have that need, then you could have adverse effects. So again, consult a professional if you're looking to do this, but I guarantee you it may be painful at first, but the results would be worth it.
And for me personally, I'll definitely talk to your medical professional. I actually know a friend of mine knows somebody who quit smoking cold turkey after smoking more than a pack a day. He died 2 weeks later of a heart attack, sadly, because his body wasn't used to getting that nicotine. And that's why we strongly suggest for any type of addiction to get professional help, medical help from your local resources, like my wife said, your doctor or whatever. One thing that's really helped me, which a lot of people are afraid to do, they don't want to admit it, they think it's bad, they think it makes you look weak. Forget that. It's not true. Therapy. We've actually both been in and out of therapy over the years at one stage or another of our lives. And I can honestly say it really helps. And what it'll do, it'll actually, I'm not a relationship expert. This is just what, I'm not a professional. This is just works for us. Having a third party to talk to, especially a professional, you'll not only take the toll off your spouse, always complaining to your spouse or whatever about this or that, which can cause a lot of relationship problems. Even with friends, there's, telling your friend you had a bad day. Someone in my family did this, or my other friend did that, or my work colleague did this. But if it's over a period of time, that person's probably going to get tired of hearing you complain all the time. So with a therapist, it relieves stress off valuable relationships in your life. And I know this is off topic. We just want to throw this in there because it's all a part about having a healthy lifestyle, and it all has to flow together. And that's why I say get professional help if you have an issue you're not worried about. And I will say speak to your doctor or nutritional expert about this. I used to take a lot of exercise supplements that were over the counter, and it's been a few years that I've been off them completely. I can honestly say I feel much healthier. I'm a lot less bloated. I'm a lot less stressed. Because when you think about it, all of those products, those powders and pills, and again, I'm not knocking any companies. I'm sure there's probably a place for them. You know, I'm sure some people could benefit them. And if you think you're one of those people, talk to your doctor first. But for me personally, I got off the supplements. I actually tapered off those supplements over a period of a few months, one dose at a time, one day at a time, because I didn't want my body to have an adverse reaction to stopping. I was on 5 different things, like 3 different powders and 2 different capsules of stuff, amino acid supplements and things like that, protein powders, this powder, that pre-workout powder, and I cut those down gradually because I didn't want to have any adverse reactions to my body. And I can honestly say I feel a lot healthier. I take hemp protein after a workout with a smoothie. You know, I mix kale and berries. Berries are a great thing to add to your diet. They're usually anti-cancer, and they actually will kill fat cells. And berries are usually very alkaline. Pineapple is also good, but if you're somebody that has issues with blood sugar, you want to find out how much of that you can have. Talk to your doctor. But this is just I want to close. We want to close with this as we're at the end of our first 2 videos. And I thank you for bearing with us over the last 30, 40 minutes. It went a little bit longer than we thought, but we had to get this out there. What was I saying? Sorry, I forgot.
So how about I close this by
Sure.
saying thank you for watching. Thank you for the people that have supported this venture so far. We just are so excited to get this out there and to show the world that you can eat and have delicious food and just show our passion for cooking. So thank you all. We need to go make dinner now, so let's get
Oh,
cooking.
I remember what I was going to say. All the berries are very alkaline. They're low glycemic. All these things. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Um, People say not to eat certain fruits or whatever because they're bad for you. Or they'll cause trouble with weight loss. Well, I don't know about you, but I have a problem with that. And I don't see how eating from the earth is bad for you. That's what I wanted to end with. So thank you for your patience, and we're gonna go and we're actually having some leftovers. We made a great brisket the other day. My wife made a lovely potato salad that can either be eaten cold or hot,
Mhm.
and we're gonna go enjoy that, and we'll share that with you one day. So thanks again, and I wish you Godspeed.
Thank you.